What's going on, guys? It's Troydan here. And today, we've got NFL players who are proven to be racist. I don't know who's in this list, and I'm still learning about the NFL, but Tom better not be here. I better not see Tom Brady. I've not seen this. Go.
How do you let that word come out of your mouth?
I shouldn't have. I'm disgusted, and I'm sorry.
Who's this?
That's not the type of person I am.
From Riley Cooper, who screamed racial slurs at a concert and divided his own locker room, to Richie Incognito, who terrorized a black teammate with racist voicemails, to Bill Romanowski, who spat in a black player's face on national TV.
What?
In this video, we're breaking down the players who were caught in undeniable acts of racism, starting with Riley Cooper. Riley Cooper's promising NFL career was forever defined by one explosive moment that revealed ugly racial prejudice. The Philadelphia Eagles wide receiver, drafted in the 5th round from the University of Florida, seemed poised for success with his 6'4" frame and route running abilities. Cooper had contributed to championship teams in college and was establishing himself as a reliable target in Philadelphia's offense, catching 23 passes for 248 yards in 2012. On June 8, 2013, during a Kenny Chesney concert at Lincoln Financial Field.
I think right there we could have stopped and known he was racist. Sorry. I think we could have... This wasn't Morgan Wallen.
His true character was exposed in the most damaging way possible. While intoxicated and denied backstage access by a black security guard, Cooper completely lost it.
Jump that fence and fight every nigga here, bro.
Yo!
The video surfaced via Crossing Broad on July 31st, 2013, creating an immediate firestorm. The footage showed Cooper in an agitated state, pointing and yelling the racial slur multiple times, his face contorted with anger as he directed venom towards security personnel simply doing their job. What made the incident particularly damaging was its public nature. This wasn't a private conversation, but a very public display of racial hostility at the Eagles' home stadium. The incident occurred in a venue where thousands of fans, including many Black Eagles supporters, were present, amplifying the harm and normalizing such language in what should have been a celebratory environment. The aftermath revealed the complex dynamics within NFL locker rooms, where teammates must navigate personal relationships while grappling with incidents of racial
look, everyone's after him.
Eagles cornerback Kerry Williams later revealed the incident deeply affected him, leading to a physical practice confrontation where he had to eat shit in a league forcing black players to suppress anger over racism. When questioned about how such language could emerge from someone playing alongside predominantly black teammates, Cooper's response revealed the depth of his shame and the calculated nature of damage control in professional sports.
Dude, you gotta jump that guy in the locker room.
The majority of your teammates are black. How do you let that word come out of your mouth?
I shouldn't have. I'm disgusted, and I'm sorry.
No, he's not. No, we're
That's not the type
not.
of person I am.
Yes, it is.
I wasn't raised that way.
Yes, you
Cooper's
were.
public apology focused heavily on his own embarrassment and disappointment rather than acknowledging the broader harm inflicted upon black communities. The Eagles fined him an estimated 6-figure amount and mandated sensitivity training, but he missed only a few practices before returning to play the full season. While Riley Cooper's racist outburst was a drunken moment of poor judgment captured on video, this next NFL player took racial harassment to an entirely different level.
Wait, so the other guy, hold on, the other guy got allowed back in? He's allowed to play? It's all cool now? Just forget about it? Is that...
Systematic abuse. Richie Incognito. The Miami Dolphins offensive
Look
guard
at
is
this
at the
guy,
center
dude.
of a
What the
2013
fuck?
controversy
This a football
involving
player?
sustained racial harassment of black teammate Jonathan Martin. Known for his aggressive play in Pro Bowl selections, Incognito's reputation was built on intensity and edge, but his treatment of Martin crossed every line of decency and professionalism. Between 2012 and 2013,
How come he look like Peter Griffin?
Incognito conducted what amounted to a systematic campaign of psychological warfare against Martin. The harassment included voicemails and text messages laden with the N-word and violent threats, creating an atmosphere of constant intimidation. The most damning evidence came in a voicemail from April 2013, where Incognito said, "Hey, what's up? You half an piece of I want to say in your F***ing mouth, I'll kill you." This message, delivered with callous laughter, demonstrated the deliberate nature of the psychological assault. The scandal highlighted broader issues within NFL culture regarding hazing and financial exploitation of younger players. Critics noted how veteran players like Incognito had normalized forcing rookies to pay for expensive trips and meals despite their unguaranteed contracts.
It's really stupid to force younger players to pick up your restaurant bills and pay for your trips.
You're millionaires.
I mean, how cheap are you? Dude, you're in the NFL for 9 years. You have a lot of money. these rookies who are here on contracts that are not even guaranteed. You're making them pay and carry your bag.
The NFL's independent investigation, documented in the 144-page Wells report, examined over 1,000 text messages showing Incognito's repeated use of racial slurs targeting Martin's biracial heritage. The harassment included lynching references and racially charged imagery that exceeded acceptable locker room banter, according to investigators.
This is his teammate, though. Why is he doing? I don't even understand. It's not like it's his opponent. Not like that's a reason to, but like it's his own teammate. What is this dude?
The
This dude is
investigation revealed
chaos.
that Incognito wasn't acting alone. Teammates John Jerry and Mike Pouncey were also involved in what the report called a pattern of harassment. What made Incognito's behavior particularly insidious was his targeting of Martin's biracial identity, using terms like half and *R that weaponized racial ambiguity as a source of shame and confusion. The harassment extended beyond racial slurs to include financial extortion, with Martin being forced to pay $15,000 for trips he didn't even attend. This combination of racial abuse and financial exploitation created a toxic environment that made Martin's daily existence unbearable. Incognito's defense revealed a troubling lack of accountability and understanding of racial dynamics. He claimed this was normal locker room talk and argued in a Fox Sports interview that "I'm not a racist, and to judge me by that one word is wrong," focusing on his intent rather than the psychological damage inflicted. If you thought Incognito's text messages were disturbing, wait until you hear about this next NFL player who literally used bodily fluids as weapons of racial humiliation. Bill Romanowski. Bill Romanowski's 16-year NFL career combined championship success with a disturbing pattern of racially charged violence that escalated throughout his time in professional football. The linebacker contributed to 4 Super Bowl victories while compiling 1,116 tackles and 39.5 sacks, establishing himself as one of the era's most productive defensive players. However, his legacy became defined by multiple racist incidents and violent altercations that disproportionately targeted black players, revealing a pattern of behavior that went far beyond competitive intensity. The most infamous incident occurred during Monday Night Football on December 15, 1997, when the Denver Broncos faced the San Francisco 49ers. During a third-quarter pileup, Romanowski spat directly in black...
the 40... Is this AI? The 49ers?
Wide receiver J.J. Stokes' face following accusations that Romanowski had grabbed Stokes' groin area. Television replays captured the act clearly, showing Romanowski projecting
49 yards. Never mind. I don't even know.
Shocked Stokes.
Is that racist? Did I miss something?
By walking away without retaliation.
It turned into a race issue at that particular point. Romo spitting into a black man's face. Was it racially motivated? I'd be hard-pressed to say it was. But did he do something that could be construed that way? Yeah.
Black Broncos teammates Shannon Sharp and Willie Green immediately branded the league's $7 $500 fine response as racist, arguing it was inadequate punishment that would never have been imposed if roles were reversed. Sharp emphasized the cultural weight, stating spitting in a black man's face was fairly close to a cross burning.
Spitting in anyone's face isn't cool.
The incident created deep divisions within Denver's locker room, with teammates forced to choose between loyalty and moral outrage. Romanowski's pattern of racially charged violence extended throughout his career, suggesting underlying racial bias rather than random aggression. He kicked Black Cardinals fullback Larry Centers in the head, 1995, receiving a $4,500 fine, and ripped Titans running back Eddie George's helmet off during a 2002 game. The most career-ending incident occurred in August 2003, when Romanowski ripped off black teammate Marcus Williams' helmet and punched him in the face, shattering his eye socket and ending Williams' career at age 25. The Williams incident revealed the full extent of Romanowski's violent tendencies and their racial implications. Williams sued for $3.8 million, with a jury awarding him $340,000 in 2005, though Williams himself stated he didn't believe it was racially motivated. But what happens when the racist behavior comes from someone who shares the same skin color as his victims? This next NFL player proves that internalized racism can be just as destructive.
I saw some Dave Chappelle.
Ricky Waters' transition from NFL stardom to high school coaching became a cautionary tale about internalized racism and the abuse of power over vulnerable young athletes. The former 49ers, Eagles, and Seahawks running back compiled impressive career statistics, including 10,643 rushing yards and 5 Pro Bowl selections, making him a respected figure in professional football. However, his 2013 stint as head coach at Oak Ridge High School in Orlando ended in disgrace after allegations of racist abuse toward his predominantly black players. Hired in February 2013 as the school's first-year head coach, Waters was accused of using racial slurs.
Hold on, sorry to pause. It's the last time I pause. Is that called an Uncle Thomas when they do that? An Uncle Thomas or Uncle Tom? Okay, I don't.
And physical intimidation toward players in a diverse school where
that.
60% of students were black and Hispanic. The allegations centered on his conduct during a September 13, 2013 game against West Orange High School, where his team suffered a 53-24 defeat that apparently triggered an explosive outburst of abusive behavior. Witnesses, including players and assistant coaches, reported Waters using racial slurs and excessive profanity in both the locker room and on the sideline, creating an intimidating environment that shocked young athletes. The Orange County Public Schools investigation confirmed these behaviors, finding Waters out of control and in violation of district policies. What made the situation particularly disturbing was the power dynamic, a black authority figure using the same language historically employed to demean black people, potentially causing psychological damage to impressionable teenagers. When confronted about his behavior, Waters attempted to deflect responsibility by claiming his outbursts were directed solely at game officials rather than his players.
I thought we weren't getting a fair shake. I mean, truthfully, I didn't think we were getting a fair shake. I'm always going to stand up for my players. I'm always going to fight for them. But it was directed towards the referees.
The investigation revealed that Waters' behavior extended beyond verbal abuse to physical intimidation. He was accused of shoving and jacking up players with his chest during games, aggressive moves unrelated to coaching.
I thought he
that
said
left players
jacking
feeling
off.
physically threatened. The situation became so toxic that at least 2 assistant coaches considered quitting, and the entire team threatened to walk out if Waters remained as coach. Waters' response revealed a troubling inability to acknowledge the racist implications of his actions. He admitted to using profanity during the game, but claimed it was directed solely at referees, not players, deflecting blame externally rather than addressing how his language affected the black teenagers under his guidance. He denied the physical abuse allegations entirely, despite witness testimony contradicting his claims. Speaking of alcohol-fueled racism, this next NFL player's drunken slurs at a team party would ultimately derail what seemed like a promising
I saw the
career
12.
with the Carolina Panthers.
Okay,
Kerry
no, we're
Collins.
good. Kerry
Collins'
Collins.
NFL career spanned 17 seasons and included Pro Bowl selections and playoff success, but his legacy remains forever tainted by a racially charged incident that exposed the intersection of alcoholism and racist behavior. Selected 5th overall by the Carolina Panthers in 1995, Collins initially showed promise, leading the team to a division title and earning a Pro Bowl nod in 1996. However, personal struggles with alcohol abuse intersected with racist actions in a way that would define his early career more than any statistical achievement.
Those don't go together well.
The most infamous incident occurred in August 1997 during a players-only party at the Panthers training camp in Spartanburg, South Carolina. While heavily intoxicated, Collins directed a racial slur at black teammate Muhsin Muhammad, reportedly saying something like, "I don't think of you as an NR. I think of you as a paid NR," implying a derogatory distinction based on Muhammad's status as a professional athlete. This wasn't presented as an isolated slip, but part of a broader pattern of racial insensitivity exacerbated by heavy drinking. What made Collins's behavior particularly indicative of racism was the context and calculated nature of his joke. The comment played into harmful stereotypes about black athletes' worth being tied to their economic value rather than their humanity, a trope rooted in systemic racism within sports where black players often face commodification. The remark nearly escalated into a physical altercation, with Muhammad becoming highly upset and other players intervening to prevent a fight, highlighting the real psychological harm caused by such language. Collins' response to the backlash revealed the troubling pattern of white fragility often displayed by athletes caught making racist statements. He issued qualified apologies, attributing the slur to alcoholism rather than acknowledging inherent bias.
Alcoholism?
Stating, "To my dying day, I will deny the fact that I am a racist."
You look like you're dying.
This shifted focus from the impact on Muhammad and other black teammates to Collins' self-perception, centering his own discomfort.
Listen,
over
dude,
the
he
harm
looks
inflicted on
racist,
those
bro.
targeted by his language. During a 2002 interview, reflecting on his career resurgence with the Giants, Collins demonstrated how he preferred focusing on positive achievements rather than addressing past controversies.
You know, when I look at your
a
stat
cop
line
out.
from this Indianapolis game, 23 of 29, 366, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Is this one of those under the radar from the public standpoint games, but from a Kerry Collins standpoint, something that you remember a lot?
Absolutely, without question.
The incident contributed to significant team tensions and highlighted broader issues within NFL culture regarding racial dynamics. Reports from Collins' college days at Penn State alluded to similar use of slurs, suggesting a possible pattern rather than a one-off mistake.
Bro,
While Collins blamed his racist language on alcohol, this next NFL player can't use that excuse for his years of racially insensitive social media posts and political displays.
Alcohol is
Nick Bosa.
crazy to blame that on.
Nick Bosa's
Nick
emergence as one
Bosa.
of the NFL's
Hold on,
premier
Nick
defensive
Bosa.
players
He's still. I've heard of that name. He's pretty good, isn't he? Or
has
was?
been overshadowed by allegations of racism stemming from his social media activity and political displays. The 49 ER's defensive end, selected
49
second overall
ERs.
in 2019, quickly established himself
49
as elite talent,
ERs.
earning Defensive Rookie of the Year in 2019 and Defensive Player of the Year in 2022.
ERs.
However, his career has been consistently marred by controversies involving racially insensitive social media posts, political endorsements, and public displays that have alienated teammates and fans alike. Pre-draft scrutiny in April 2019 exposed old social media posts where Bosa called Colin Kaepernick a clown for protesting police brutality, described Beyonce's music as trash, and called
Well,
Black Panther the worst Marvel movie.
Okay,
While
well,
these
one
might
out of
seem
three
like
of these
personal
was right.
preferences, the pattern of dismissing black cultural achievements and anti-racism activism suggested deeper insensitivity to racial issues. More damaging were his Instagram likes on posts containing homophobic slurs and racist hashtags, revealing tacit approval of hate speech. The controversy intensified dramatically in 2024 when Bosa made an overt political statement that many viewed as racially insensitive. On October 27, 2024, after a win over Dallas, Bosa interrupted an NBC post-game interview by flashing a MAGA hat, endorsing Donald Trump on the same day as Trump's Madison Square Garden rally. The rally featured speakers making racist jokes about Puerto Ricans and black people, drawing widespread condemnation as vile and racist. When questioned by reporters about his decision to make such a public political statement during a post-game interview, Bosa's response was characteristically evasive and dismissive.
Why did you take that opportunity to make what appeared to be a political statement?
I'm not going to talk too much about it, but I think it's an important time.
Bosa's timing couldn't have been worse. Displaying MAGA support on the same day as explicitly racist political rhetoric created an unmistakable association between his endorsement and white supremacist messaging. The NFL fined him $11,255 for violating rules against personal messages on gear.
They fined him 11,000. That's it. That's all they found. $11,000.
But Bosa remained defiant, telling reporters the fine was
You
well
do that in
worth
the
it
NBA,
without
that's like
addressing
7
the racist
figures.
context of his political display. The incident highlighted the stark contrast between how the league treats different types of political expression. While Colin Kaepernick was effectively blacklisted for protesting racial injustice, Bosa faced minimal consequences for endorsing political figures associated with racist rhetoric. Think Bosa's social media controversies were bad? This next NFL player's teenage tweets contained explicit white supremacist messaging that somehow didn't prevent him from becoming a franchise
Is it
quarterback.
Josh Allen?
Josh Allen. Josh Allen's rise to NFL stardom with the Buffalo Bills has been accompanied by persistent questions about racist social media activity from his teenage years. The quarterback, drafted 7th overall in 2018 after a standout college career at Wyoming, has become one of the league's elite players, earning multiple Pro Bowl selections and leading Buffalo to consistent playoff success. However, his high school-era social media posts containing racial slurs and white supremacist messaging have cast a shadow over his professional achievements. The controversial tweets emerged just hours before the 2018 NFL Draft via Yahoo Sports, revealing posts from 2012 and 2013 when Allen was 17 years old. The content included repeated use of the N-word in various contexts, often claiming to quote rap lyrics or TV shows. More damaging was a June 2013 response to Why Are You So White with If It Ain't White, It Ain't Right, an explicitly white supremacist slogan.
There was a pro wrestler that hanged. Okay.
Endorsed racial hierarchies.
I'm not
What
sticking
made
up for
Allen's
Josh
behavior
Allen. Don't
particularly
even.
troubling was the pattern across multiple tweets rather than isolated incidents. The post showed casual deployment of the N-word by a white teenager in online interactions, demonstrating normalized insensitivity to racial dynamics. Even when framed as lyric quotes, this appropriation ignored the cultural context where black artists reclaim the term, while white usage perpetuates harm and signals entitlement to black cultural elements without accountability. Allen's response to the controversy revealed the classic pattern of deflection common among white athletes caught making racist statements. When confronted by ESPN about the meaning behind his racially insensitive tweets, Allen's explanation emphasized his youth and inexperience rather than acknowledging the racist nature of his language.
Obviously, we were young and dumb. I was, 15, 16 years old at the time. And, I never realized that could hurt me 6 years down the line. So I want to be used, as a example for, kids.
He should have sung the NWA song.
Can't come up to you and
now
reach you
look
6
at
years
him.
later. I'm extremely sorry for what happened. I own it.
In pre-draft interviews, he emphasized being young and dumb, rather than directly confronting the racist nature of his language. His apology focused on personal consequences, how the tweets could hurt me 6 years down the line, rather than acknowledging the harm such language inflicts on black communities and teammates. The incident occurred amid Colin Kaepernick's protests against racial injustice, highlighting the hypocrisy in how the NFL addresses different types of racial issues. Teams reportedly knew about Allen's tweets months in advance, but viewed them as high school follies rather than serious character concerns. This tolerance contrasted sharply with the intense scrutiny faced by black players who speak out against racism, suggesting a double standard in the league's approach to racial accountability. Bills team captain Lorenzo Alexander acknowledged that Allen would need a good answer for teammates, but gave him the benefit of the doubt. The incident caused Allen's draft stock to slip slightly, but he still went 7th overall and signed a massive contract extension in 2021. But what happens when racism accusations come without any evidence to back them up? This next NFL player found himself at the center of unsubstantiated claims that highlighted the dangers of social media allegations. Dan Skipper.
Dan Skipper.
Skipper's unlikely NFL journey from
Look at him,
practice
dude.
squad journeyman to inspirational starter became complicated by unsubstantiated racism accusations that highlighted the challenges of addressing alleged racist behavior without concrete
I don't like him
evidence.
at all.
The 6'10" inches offensive tackle entered his 9th NFL season in 2025 after going undrafted from Arkansas in 2017, bouncing between multiple teams before finding stability with the Detroit Lions. His career has been defined by perseverance through repeated cuts and practice squad assignments, making his eventual success all the more remarkable. Skipper's feel-good moment came in September 2022 when he started his first career game at guard, helping Detroit secure their first win of the season against Washington. The post-game celebration went viral, showing emotional teammates chanting his name in the locker room, celebrating a player who had overcome years of rejection to finally achieve his NFL
Is that a
dream.
woman
This
in the locker
heartwarming
room?
narrative
Yo, they
was
got
quickly
ladies in there
overshadowed
now?
by serious racism allegations that emerged just hours later.
I don't like
49 ER's defensive end Arik Armstead accused Skipper of repeatedly using the N-word during games, posting on Instagram. "So we cheering for
In
racists now?"
games?
Called multiple players the N-word in games. Hard ER. The hard ER reference emphasized the most derogatory pronunciation of the slur, suggesting deliberate racial intimidation rather than casual usage. Armstead's timing, juxtaposing Skipper's celebration with the racism accusation, maximized the allegation's impact and forced a re-evaluation of the feel-good story.
Niners defensive end Arik Armstead accuses Lions offensive tackle Dan Skipper of calling players the N-word multiple times and being a racist. This is on his Instagram.
In the game?
So we cheering for racist now? Called multiple players the N-word in game.
In game.
Hard ER. That's all it takes is one person like Arik Armstead to come out with a complaint like this and get somebody fired, get somebody canceled, whatever.
The accusation immediately faced scrutiny when fact checkers revealed significant problems with Armstead's claims. Research showed that Skipper had played 0 snaps in games where Armstead was on the field and hadn't even been on the sideline during any NFL games Armstead had participated in. This disconnect raised serious questions about how Armstead could have firsthand knowledge of alleged racist language from a player he'd never faced in competition.
That's
From
a bad
unproven
person.
accusations to disputed
I
claims,
can
this
smell
next
them.
NFL player became embroiled in one of the
He's
most
gonna kill his
controversial
wife if he
racial
hasn't already.
allegations in recent memory after a helmet-swinging brawl. Mason Rudolph.
Mason
Rudolph's NFL career became defined by one of the most chaotic on-field incidents in recent memory, culminating in disputed allegations of
overtime
racist
Megan?
language that divided public opinion. The Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback, drafted in 2018 from Oklahoma State, has appeared in 21 games through 2025, serving primarily as a backup while compiling modest statistics. His career trajectory changed dramatically on November 14, 2019, during a Thursday night football game against Cleveland, when a sideline altercation with Browns defensive end Myles Garrett escalated into violence and racism accusations. The incident unfolded in the final seconds of Cleveland's 21-7 victory, with Pittsburgh facing a meaningless 4th down. After Rudolph completed a short pass, he was tackled aggressively by Garrett,
Yo, he took
leading
his
to an
helmet?
exchange of words and shoves that culminated in Garrett
He took
ripping
his
off
helmet?
Rudolph's helmet and striking him in the head
What?
with it. The blow
What?
drew blood and sparked a full-scale brawl involving over 30 players,
Oh, yeah.
resulting in $732,422 in fines and multiple suspensions.
weird fine
transformed this from a typical football fight into a racial controversy was Garrett's claim during his November 20th, 2019 appeal hearing that Rudolph had called him stupid and R during the altercation, which lit a fuse and provoked the helmet attack. Garrett maintained this allegation in subsequent interviews, stating he didn't want it publicized initially to avoid appearing to justify his actions, but stood by what I heard. The NFL's response was swift and definitive, conducting what officials described as a thorough investigation. Pittsburgh coach Mike Tomlin strongly defended his quarterback, emphasizing the league's comprehensive review process.
But when these allegations returned this past weekend, I thought it was appropriate that Mason is properly defended. It was a thorough investigation done by us and the National Football League. I don't think that was represented during that piece. These accusations are serious, not only in terms of Mason Rudolph's character, but his professional pursuits. Nobody on that field, as a member of the Cleveland Browns or the Pittsburgh Steelers, corroborated what was said by Myles Garrett. That was founded by us and the National Football League.
The NFL's investigation, reviewing broadcast audio, sideline microphones, and witness interviews, concluded on November 21st, 2019, that it found no such evidence of the alleged slur. No teammates from either side corroborated hearing the slur, and even Garrett later acknowledged the difficulty of proving his claim. This lack of corroborating evidence led many to view the accusation as a post hoc rationalization for Garrett's loss of control. Rudolph's vehement denials and consistent story throughout the ordeal added credibility to his position. He called the allegation a malicious assault on his integrity, worse than the physical attack, expressing shock that Garrett would make such claims after initially apologizing for the incident. And in perhaps the most ironic twist of all, this next NFL player, famous for protesting racial injustice, was himself accused of using the very language he fought against.
Right?
Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick's legacy as a civil rights activist and symbol of protest against racial injustice was complicated by a 2014 incident where he was accused of using the very language he would later speak out against.
Oh, this is the dude went on his knees.
San Francisco 49ers quarterback who led the team to Super Bowl.
I remember hearing about this guy.
And became internationally known for kneeling during the national anthem. Found himself at the center of controversy when he was allegedly heard using the N-word during a September 14th,
Wait, isn't he allowed to say it?
game against the Chicago Bears at Levi's Stadium. The incident occurred in the fourth quarter after Kaepernick threw an interception that set up a Chicago touchdown. According to reports, Kaepernick allegedly used the N-word while addressing Bears defensive end Lamar Houston, leading to an immediate unsportsmanlike conduct penalty for inappropriate language. Houston confirmed to the Chicago Tribune that Kaepernick had called him the N-word, stating it was said with venom rather than in a casual or friendly manner. What made this incident particularly complex was the intraracial context and the debate it sparked about who has the right to police such language.
He's not
The
full-blood.
controversy became a focal point for discussions about the NFL's newly implemented penalties for racial slurs on the field.
They arrested him on the field?
That set up a Chicago touchdown. Kaepernick allegedly used the N-word in addressing Lamar Houston. According to Fox Sports, Kaepernick was penalized on the field and later fined more than $11,000 for the alleged slur, but denied saying anything and will appeal the fine. Right
What's
now,
the point of
welcome
even
back to the desk,
finding them at that low price?
NFL veteran, current free agent, wide receiver. What's your reaction to this?
Well, allegedly, I'll just say allegedly. I'm going to say this. I don't think that he's the first player to use the N-word over these first few weeks of the season and even in preseason.
The NFL initially fined Kaepernick $11,025 for the incident.
$25?
The fine was reduced to $5,512. The appeals officer ruled it was general profanity rather than a targeted racial slur, though noted the language was still inappropriate. This reduction suggested the evidence was inconclusive, with no audio definitively capturing Kaepernick's exact words.
This is a nothing
and officials
sandwich.
relying
What the
primarily
hell?
on Houston's report and lip reading attempt.
What the hell? Who's Arthur Jones? Oh my God, that's the guy that just passed away, right? Is that John Jones's brother? Look at this thumbnail. Holy... Okay, I can't even take in. What's good? All right, you know what? Whatever. NFL players who are proven to be racist, I don't know. Some of these are obviously proven, but some of them are a little dicey on these. I'm not really going to be the one to speak on it, but yeah, no Tom Brady. No Tom Brady. Woo! I was going to be worried. Guys, if you got a video like for me to watch or react to, you can post in my Discord. Thank you for watching, and kids, what the hell is this?